We're going to make some meatballs. I'm going to use ground beef, but you can use a combination of whatever you like. Ground beef mixed with pork, veal, turkey, anything. And I'm going to take my basil garlic puree. We're going to soak a piece of bread in either milk or water or stock. It's up to the individual. Raw onion, sun-dried tomato, pecorino romano cheese, and when I simmer the meatballs after I fry them, I'm going to simmer them not in just plain tomato sauce. It'll be 2/3 tomato sauce and 1/3 red wine sauce. So it's not that heavy tomato, and it works very well that way. I chose to soak the bread in milk this time. Other times I've used stock, water, and after this soaks, I won't have to squeeze it because it's going to absorb the milk that's there. So if it looks like you have too much milk, after the bread is soft, just squeeze it with your hands. And the squeezing, it'll break up the bread too. Some people cut the crust off. I didn't. You can. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, then you know you have to cut the crust off. But look how soft this is. Anyway, so let this soak for a little bit. Then we're going to mix everything together. The raw onion, the basil, everything. Then we'll go about frying them. I'm going to break up the bread. That's been soaking for a good 10 minutes. It's soft. I just happened to put just the right amount of milk in there, so there's no more milk left over. I just break it up. And into this I'm putting the sun-dried tomato and the onion and mix it further. And the salt and peppers in there already. And it'll break up a little bit more easily with the tomato, sun-dried tomato and the onion. Nice. And when you feel that it's nice and fine like this, now no more hand mixing. Now we're going to mix with a spoon the last two ingredients into here. So when it's well mixed here, it'll mix easier into the bread. Pecorino Romano cheese and the basil, garlic puree that I make, that I have a video of. All you have to do is take a whole load of basil and a bunch of garlic, put in the Cuisinart, put some olive oil, run it, pack it in containers, put it in the freezer, and you're good to go whenever you need that item. There. And once we put this in with the meat, mix it up, we'll make the meatballs and we'll get frying. And I'm using like a wok type pot for the simple reason this is going to make a little bit of a mess, right? Since we're frying the meatballs. It'll keep some of the grease from splattering over if it was a more shallow pan. Let it get this hot, and okay, I forgot one item. An egg. I'm going to beat that up and add it to the mix. Okay, so there's the mix. Not mixed up yet. But once I mix everything with my hand now, okay, we've reached 375, which is good, and let it go a little higher, because you know as soon as you drop a few of these meatballs in. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to scoop it in so they're all the same size. And if you think the meat's going to be sticky because you have lean meat, but I don't have fatty meat, just Dip that in the oil. Get a meatball, drop it in. Get another one. And if you notice, if you see that the temperature is going down, which it isn't, you can't put a lot in here, so you brown off about a half a dozen. Put them in the sauce and wait for the rest. The temperature has dropped a little, so we'll just raise it a hair, just to keep it at that 375 mark. This will seal in the juices. That jumped on me. You could bake these. You could roll them and throw them right into the sauce. That's what some people do. And I've done it all different ways. But today, I'm doing it like this. They come out with a little different taste when they're fried. And all we're looking for is somewhat of a nice color, which we have. And then you keep an eye on the thermometer. It's really dropped. So you raise it up a little bit more. As long as you see it frying like this, you're doing okay. Anything less than this, it's almost boiling. So now I'm going to put this into the pot of sauce. And I'm not going to cook it. The sauce is warm. And I shut off the flame. I want all the meatballs in there first. And then we'll simmer them for about 15-20 minutes. So now that this first batch is done, just continue until you finish all the meat. And then we'll see how many meatballs we get. This last batch, I just kept on adding the meatballs to the pan, as long as I had room. And you just take out the ones that are brown. The flame is all the way up. Uh-oh, problem there. See, that's what happens when you add too many in the pan. I don't even listen to myself when I do things. It came out nice when I just put like 5 or 6. Then I have to rush it and put everything in there. Not nice. So we'll see how many we get, and then I'm going to simmer. Now it's starting to simmer, and that's what I'll let it do for a half hour. Then I'll take a look at the meatballs. Well, that recipe made about 16 meatballs, about that size, and the rest are in the pot. And we're going to take a fork, cut one of these open, see how tender they are. But I already know that tomorrow, when they sit in the sauce in the refrigerator overnight, they get even more softer. But that went through so easily. This is too hot for me, but I'll try it anyway. Whoa. Very, very soft. Mmm. Good. And not heavy tomato. Sometimes I don't like that heavy tomato. That's why I cut it with some red wine sauce. But you know, you can cut it with some chicken velouté. You can cut, if you want to use some canned stuff, cut it with a little cream of mushroom soup. You know, just to take away that heavy tomato taste. These came out nice and tender. I hope you enjoy it.